Hello and welcome to this weekend edition of the Daily Dose of Greek. I'm happy to announce that July the 15th, 2020 was not only tax day for those who live in the United States of America, but was the day that the revised edition of Going Deeper with New Testament Greek came out. Yes, indeed, this intermediate Greek grammar is now in a revised edition. This grammar was co-authored by Andreas Kostenberger, Ben Merkel, and myself. The short version of this review is go to deepergreek.com to see endorsements, characteristics of the grammar, what's new in the revised edition, and tons of free resources. All there at deepergreek.com. Now that you have that option of just going there, let's take a look at it ourselves. Here is the landing page for the grammar. If you just type in deepergreek.com, you will end up here. You can see these bullet point characteristics of the grammar. And the final little section of there, you can see what's new in the revised edition, new and updated resources, up-to-date information on text criticism, including the Tyndale Greek New Testament, lexicons, resources, new and updated footnotes, fresh examples from the Greek text. I would argue when you hold this book in your hand, you have the most up-to-date intermediate New Testament Greek grammar available, but it's also written in a way, we aspire to be timeless, that it doesn't have a faddishness to it or a trendiness to it, but it's up to date, but it's resting on decades, centuries of careful biblical scholarship while still seeking to bring in the most recent and the best insights that scholars continue to have. One of the things that's encouraged me the most about the grammar is the way it's been received by other professors. You can see here in the middle, we have this endorsement from Michael Bird, Academic Dean and Lecturer in Theology at Ridley College in Melbourne, Australia. He said, "My college switched to using Going Deeper with New Testament Greek for all our upper-level Greek exegesis courses, and we've never looked back. It is a terrific intermediate grammar for students, fully up on the latest discussions about verbal aspect, perfect tense, and deponency, and yet eminently readable." and thank you, Michael Bird, for that kind endorsement, and that's what we aimed for. That's what we were hoping for. Here, Scott Duvall, who's a professor at Ouachita Baptist University, this is what he said. He said, "Going Deeper with New Testament Greek is the best intermediate Greek textbook I've ever used in over 25 years of teaching Greek, primarily because it was written by and designed for those of us who labor in the classroom." As you continue looking at the deepergreek.com website, you can see there are tons of free resources, all these student downloads on the left here, vocabulary list, chapter summaries, student versions of PowerPoint. There's all sorts of digital flashcards available. There's all sorts of faculty resources available, exams, quizzes, keys, PowerPoint, all those available. Yet professors have to request those from B&H Academic by clicking on the resource here. Those are not just available to students. Students cannot download the same exams that the professors get, and so on. Let's take a glance inside the book, actually. And when we look here, this is just the beginning of chapter 1, you'll see that every chapter begins with a Going Deeper section. And it's a teaser, right? It says, hey, you're going to learn some stuff in this chapter here, this one on text criticism. Let's look at a passage where it really affects meaning, where what you're going to learn really matters in understanding the text. Because really, the reason Andreas and Ben and I wrote this text was because we love the Word of God, and we want students to love and know the Word of God, whether they're pastors, whether they're lay people, seminary students, Bible college students, homeschooling moms, an engineer studying Greek in the evening, whatever it is, we want people to come to know and love the Word of God better, to see the Spirit transform their lives through the Word of God, to see churches transformed, to see society transformed, to see God glorified. That's our vision for this. And so we begin each chapter with this Going Deeper, reminding people, this is why you're learning this. Look, this matters. I have a shot here from a chapter. You can see the material is laid out. It's laid out, I think, clearly. It's laid out in a nicely formatted and an engaging style with good discussion. Then at the end of each chapter, there are these wonderful summary charts. Students and faculty love the summary charts, right? We have these summary charts that summarize the material from each chapter. Here's another chapter where we see the summary charts, and I'm going to skim on down. After the summary charts, what you will see, and this is in every chapter then has practice exercises where you have the opportunity to then apply and work through the material you've just learned. And the answer key to that is available to faculty. So then they can have the answer key to work through that with their students. After the practice exercises, there are vocabulary lists, right? So this is great because you don't have to buy another vocabulary resource, but the vocabulary lists are included within the intermediate grammar itself. That is, when students finish the book, they'll know every word that occurs 15 times or more in the Greek New Testament. As we keep going down, after the vocabulary to memorize, there's vocabulary to recognize, which is keyed to the reading passages. Each chapter also has a reading passage from the New Testament. And in fact, if you work through all these in this textbook, you'll have read something by every author in the Greek New Testament. Every author in the Greek New Testament is represented by the reading sections at the end of the chapter. And then there are extensive reading notes. This is something, again, that certain people have commented on. They really love because they're comments on the grammar, the syntax, taking students by the hand at this beginning/intermediate level and leading them to a deeper level, a deeper knowledge by explaining things as we go along. Let me encourage you to check out the website, deepergreek.com, and see if this is a resource that would be helpful to you. And even if you don't buy the textbook, there's lots of free resources you can use at that website. And I hope and pray that this book continues to be useful to faculty, students, and just curious learners of the Greek New Testament around the world.